This is a white 710. I've already had this machine open, and the complaint was the hook wasn't turning, and that is because the hook gear was split and just sliding around on the hub inside. Found a replacement gear. It's got a pair of set screws on it and is made of white plastic instead of black. That is BP4340. But accessing this gear for replacement requires a trick. So all of that removes with just basic screws, but the gear is on the shaft here in the end, and it's pinned in place, so you have to drill a hole behind the hook, just down where my pinky finger is, and a hole here on the back of the machine. Those two holes line up so you can drive the roll pin out. Unless, of course, your machine has already got the new part with the set screws on it. So having driven the pin out through my pair of holes, it's time to see about getting that old hub. Yep. Because that was just pinned in place. That old hub is just coming right out of there. There. So, what? Oh, there's the pin hole, and we're gonna put the new gear in place here. And rotate the, well, sometimes they put these, sometimes they ship these gears with the set screws in, and I always forget to loosen the set screws. Yep. These set screws both needed about a turn loosened. Alright. Now it slides right in, and you can and it turns and it's engaged with the gear. So we'll have to give that some timing, and then make sure you drill a hole in the back of the casting so that you can reach in with your hex driver and get those set screws. Right. Next thing is there's 3 screws on the back side of the hook here. 1, 2, and 3, if I can spin this a little bit from this side. On this machine there were 2 straight flat blade screws and 1 hex key, but those are going to get loosened so we can do the hook timing, and that's going to make it faster and easier, because this hole on the back I can only reach in 1 or 2 spots to get the set screws, so I can do the set screws on the new gear and then just time the hook once I have everything in place. Another important thing is the shaft that this new gear is on. It does slide left to right in the machine and is held in place by the gear on the end here, so you have to make sure and reach in and draw it all the way out to make sure that that gear is doing its job holding the shaft in the correct place too. So that new gear is fastened on the shaft, and this is the back side of the hook area, and you can see I set my needle. This is the left hand side of the full width zigzag on this machine, and then hook, of course, needs to be rotated so it's just behind the needle as the eye is coming up. And now that that's in position, I will retighten the 3 screws I loosened on the hook. Alright, with that new gear in place, it's time to reassemble the white here, and it occurs to me I did not put a dab of grease inside on that gear, so just gonna reach in and get a teeny dab of grease in there. And this is relatively easy to get apart, but it does seem challenging at first. So it's got this bracket on the end, and that bracket has 2 different kinds of screws in it. It's got this flush screw that goes in a hole up top here so that it's flush behind that bracket. So pop that in. Get that in place. And then come on. Gotta keep track of that junk gear to return to the customer. This bracket only fits one way, so that's at least easy. And it does have 2, because these supports are what hold the flaps on the base up and down. And it's got 2, only one side goes all the way up. So anyhow, those 2 ready for the cover here. So the cover has the flap opening set up on the inside of it, and that lever to hold the work surface flat, which I'm gonna stick out, and then there's pins. Let me pop this off for a second. These flaps have pins right here and right there. Those pins have to go on the underside of these supports, so you get it slipped in here, and then you have to make sure that you can put the let the flaps rest on those supports, and then once it's in place where they're resting, you can drop the 2 screws in the base plate here. And I'm just finger tightening these. The needle plate slips in, snaps in place, and then under here there's actually a trigger to pop the plate out. And of course the flaps that control that leaves it flat for more of a flatbed experience, but the front flap has to open so we can stick the bobbin case in.